Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're talking about the fact a lot of people are interested in John Collins. And we've talked about this a lot, but let's just do some speculation. Let's talk about these team. Jovan Buha, I believe, is the one who put this information out there. Could be wrong, but we'll talk about it right here. And it was Marc Stein of the Stein line. My apology, not Jovan Buha. But let's get right into the information. The information starts with the fact that the Brooklyn Nets, the Indiana Pacers, the Utah Jazz, and the Washington Wizards are all pursuing John Collins. And I put this out there. We've heard the Brooklyn Nets have offered Joe Harris, a package centered around Joe Harris for John Collins. Indiana Pacers, my assumption, they haven't put out what that they've rumored to offer, but my assumption is that they have been offering Buddy Hield and probably a Buddy Hield TJ McConnell combination, because that addresses another three-point shooter and a backup point guard for the Atlanta Hawks, which is something that they could really benefit from getting. Yes, it would leave a hole at the power forward, but we're under the assumption that the Atlanta Hawks are trying to go 4 out, 1 in, meaning 4 shooters, 1 big, and the big being Clint Capella backed up by an Echo Kongu. And they're going to rely on just having a bunch of wings and shooters around DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. And John Collins has been shopped for like 2 years now. And with Landry Fields being promoted to head of basketball operations, shout out Landry Fields, GOAT. And he's been given the green light to do whatever is needed to fix this team. And the tweet that was originally put out by Adrian Wojnarowski said they have been engaging in John Collins talks. And they're going to part way with him. It's happening slowly, but Stein is talking that the Brooklyn Nets, Pacers, Jazz, and Washington Wizards are all interested in him. And the Wizards, it's Kyle Kuzma we're hearing is a deal. I assume a deal will probably be like a Kyle Kuzma, Will Barton deal. And you send John Collins, maybe they have to attach a pick. I don't know. But I'm under the assumption that if the Wizards were an option for the Atlanta Hawks, it would be like Kyle Kuzma and Will Barton, another shooter, and Kyle Kuzma, which I think that's their most preferred. Like, that's the preferred deal the Hawks would want. My other assumption, another deal that they could do, is Kelly Olynyk and Malik Beasley from the Utah Jazz. I know originally they wanted Lauri Markkanen, but again, Lowry's not going anywhere. So the next best deal, I think, is Kelly Olynyk gives you a power forward and then another shooter in Malik Beasley. Now, we know Collins was almost traded for Harrison Barnes, and it's unknown if Sacramento still interests them. But at the end of the day, right here, if we want to just look at all those deals that I just said, we'll run through them real quick right here. We'll start with the Wizards. And John Collins making 23.5. So what you're going to have to do, Kyle Kuzma 13. Will Barton makes 14.3. So if you did Will Barton, Kyle Kuzma, that's technically $4 million over. So what would have to happen is a guy like Frank Kaminsky or Justin Holiday. I would assume Justin Holiday potentially. So it would probably be like a Justin Holiday, John Collins for Kyle Kuzma and Will Barton. Maybe the Wizards throw in a pick right there. That's the only hold up there. Another deal that they could do is Kyle Kuzma and Rui Hachimura. And I believe that would also get the deal done, or DeLon Wright. There's a few ways to get the deal. I think Kyle Kuzma is the guy that they're most interested in, and why wouldn't you be? Utah again. Utah is another one that you should be interested in. I mean, Colin Sexton's even an option there, but I don't think they would want Colin Sexton. Kelly Olynyk's making $12 million, Malik's making 15, so it's a similar circumstance. You probably have to attach DeLon Wright, but you could also do Kelly Olynyk and Talen Horton-Tucker. I wouldn't want Talen Horton-Tucker if I'm the Atlanta Hawks. So when you look at this, what are the best deals? And you wouldn't really want Rudy Gay. I mean, if you can get yourself Jared Vanderbilt, that changes everything. Because then you'd be like, okay, send us Jared Vanderbilt and like Colin Sexton, or Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley. Or if you really want to do a package, you could look at this and be like, okay, so this Jared Vanderbilt, Ochai Agbaji, and Kelly Olynyk will send you John Collins. Hear me out. And maybe the Hawks even attach some second round picks or a pick in there protected. Those are possibilities. The Brooklyn Nets, again, if they've rejected the Joe Harris package, which I would, the next best deal, in my opinion, is I think it's interesting because You could do a deal where you do John Collins and a Nick Okongwu. You take back Nick Claxton, Patty Mills, and I don't even think there's a way to do this, because the next best deal, I was going to say, like Patty Mills and Nick Claxton get you to 14, Seth Curry get you to 23, and you would have to still throw in, like, you still wouldn't be able to do it because you would need Royce O'Neal. So my assumption is maybe it is Royce O'Neal's that's being thrown in there. You could get it done with Royce O'Neal, Nick Claxton, and Patty Mills straight up for John Collins if they're not going to take Joe Harris, which if I'm Atlanta and if it is going to be around Joe Harris, I want a pick involved, and then I want Joe Harris and either Seth Curry, Joe Harris, and Patty Mills. Like, it's interesting to see that deal because I feel like it's a little bit more difficult. We've heard Dallas. I've heard that's centered around like Christian Wood and like potentially, I think it would be like Reggie Bullock. It's interesting to see what these deals could be.